ChatGPT. This is what we're going to be talking about today. ChatGPT is absolutely going nuts. The adoption rate of ChatGPT was faster than anybody anticipated. I believe it's one of the fastest adopted technologies in history. Kind of took the world by storm, it took the marketing industries by storm. But specifically, if we're looking at ChatGPT through the lens of our business as a coach, a course creator, or a marketer, we want to be asking the question, what is in it for me? How can we use ChatGPT to benefit and improve our business in some way, shape, or form? So that's what we're going to be discussing today. And I'm not going to dive in too heavy on the technical side of things because I'm not an engineer. I don't know all of the nuts and bolts and all the crazy terms in which make AI work. And that doesn't really matter. All we have to do as a marketer, a coach, or a course creator is understand how to leverage this technology inside of our businesses. Because one thing is for certain, it's that we are not going backwards when it comes to innovation and technology. Once the Pandora's box has been opened, there is no closing it. We know that for sure. So we are only moving forward. We cannot fight this. We cannot resist this. We must simply embrace it. So today, I want to talk about a little bit about what ChatGPT is and how we can start to utilize this inside of our business. All right, so what is ChatGPT? It is effectively like a chatbot created by this company called OpenAI. And if you were to think of how you go about and use Google, you type in a question or a query, and Google spits out a series of search results. If we think of how we use ChatGPT, we type in what we refer to as a prompt or a question or a query, and it gives you an answer. Now, ChatGPT in its form right now is all text-based. So it is not able to transcribe audio. It's not going to give you any images or videos. It's all text-based, but it has this quite vast ability and capabilities when it comes to text. So ChatGPT can write code. If you were to say, write me the JavaScript code to create an exit pop on my website, it can spit out the JavaScript code. You can type in code and ask it to debug it or find errors. It can create a song. It can write an essay. It can take a test. It's helping people with their resumes and their applications. So it's got this vast capabilities. But where I'm specifically interested in and where I have found the most power is in terms of content creation. Now, I've actually mapped out all of this inside of a document. I've got 28 ways to utilize ChatGPT and AI for automating our content creation as a coach or course creator. So stay tuned to the end. I'll give you the link for that. But I have found this, and what I'm using it most right now is with podcasting. So when it comes to ChatGPT, we know it's text-based and it can generate all sorts of things. So very simply, it can do things like create headlines. It can create posts. It can generate show notes. It can create a Twitter thread. It can write a Twitter post. It can write a blog post. It can do all sorts of these things when it comes to our content creation. Now, what I find really fascinating is a lot of people really struggle with this roadblock of either writer's block, knowing what to say. And I think this tool has the ability to really streamline this for all of us. And if it can allow us to create an efficiency inside of our content creation process, it has the ability to help us generate more content or just simply get started if we're struggling to even get started creating content. And for that, I absolutely love this tool. So what I want to do is I want to walk you through some of the things that I'm doing right now, and I'm going to use podcasting as an example. The reason I like podcasting is because it is using the source that it's creating from is my own information, which means it's my own intellectual property. If I were to say to ChatGPT, write me a blog post about running ads on Facebook and how it was impacted by the iOS 14 privacy changes. It'll just write me a blog post. Now it's pulling from all of its sources inside of its database. But what I like to do is I like to say, take a podcast transcription, put it into ChatGPT, and then I have it create information from me based on that transcription. That's how I've been really leveraging this technology. So my process right now is I actually will take my notes. So generally when I record, I have a bunch of notes and thoughts that just kind of come to me. I write them all down. I put those into ChatGPT and I say, create a structured and formatted podcast outline based on the following information. And then I just pop my notes in there. And then it'll give me like an introduction. It'll give me the points. It'll say, talk about, part 1 for 5 minutes and, these bullet points, and part 2 for 7 minutes, and talk about these things. So I go from having a very rambly podcast to having a nice, beautiful outline and structure to follow. Once I finish recording, I will transcribe my podcast using Descript, and then I will take that transcription and I will utilize that inside of ChatGPT. And I might say something like, I'm just looking at my document here. I might say something like, generate 10 short and punchy headlines for the following text, and I'll just insert my podcast transcription. And I like to play with this a little bit. I might say, generate a formatted outline for a 35-minute podcast based on these notes. I might have it generate my show notes. So I might say, provide an SEO optimized and formatted summary followed by a bulleted list of important points for the following text. Pop in my transcription, and then I got my show notes. I have it generate my titles. I have it generate my posts. So I might say, write me 350 character posts based on the most important concepts discussed in this information. And then I'll insert my podcast transcription. I might have it do the same thing for a TikTok script, for a Twitter post, for my headlines, I might also have it generate a summary for what I'm going to utilize in my email to promote it. So I'm creating this wealth of content inside of 5 to 10 minutes that I'm not actually having to write myself. But the beautiful part is that it's being generated from my own content. And that's really why I love ChatGPT, is because I'm not actually having to stress or worry about it being stolen from someone else. It's coming from me. It's generating a summary and outline the important points from information I'm inserting into the machine. Now, we have to understand that there are always going to be the limitations when it comes to AI and anything that is, being done by a machine, is that it doesn't necessarily know if it's good. It doesn't know if it's going to convert. It doesn't know if it's hitting on the proper pain points and symptoms of your ideal clients, and that it is an imperfect engine, but it is very powerful. And with the right prompts and finding what works for you, your business, and, matching your tonality and your voice, we can get some pretty good stuff. It might need to be tweaked. We might need to ask it a few follow-up prompts to get a little tweak of what we need. We might need to make some adjustments or make some edits after the fact to fine-tune it a little bit to what we need. But it's pretty darn good in what it comes up with. And the speed at which it allows us to create is what I truly, truly love. Another thing that I've been doing as well is I will take my podcast transcription, I'll pop it into ChatGPT, and I'll have it create a blog post based on that for me. So I'll type in, create a 1,000 word blog post with like SEO formatted with proper sections and headings based on the following text, and I'll insert my podcast transcription. Now, when it comes to creating a proper SEO formatted blog post, it's not perfect, but it will effectively utilize my transcription, format it into a blog post, and I'm going to have to go in there and, add the H1s and the H2s and paste it into my WordPress blog, but it's pretty good. And it might get me 75 or 80% of the way there. And if I can get 75 or 80% of the way there without having to do it myself and without having to hire a contractor or a copywriter to do that. That is a massive, massive win in my books. Right now, ChatGPT is free. They have announced that they're rolling out a paid or a pro version. I believe $42 a month is what they've announced. There are similar tools out there like Jasper and Copy.ai. The important thing is that ChatGPT right now is free. They're going to monetize. They're monetizing through there, but this tool is so powerful. And if we can just simply learn to utilize it and learn to leverage this technology, I think we have an immense amount of power, because we can also just ask it questions like, I am running ads for a pet company and just asking questions about, what are the most important reasons why a dog owner would need flea and tick medication for their dogs? And it gives me a bunch of answers. Now, this is impacting my research process. Might not be perfect, might not be all inclusive and all encompassing all of the answers, but it's getting me a large percentage of the way there without having to do as much heavy lifting. This technology is incredibly powerful. And when we see how we can utilize it from a coach or a course creator perspective for our content creation, we see we can create headlines, we can create posts, we can create posts for every platform: LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We can create Instagram carousels, Twitter threads. We can create scripts for TikTok. We can create outlines for our podcast. We can create an outline for a YouTube video, a script for a YouTube video. If we want to get really crazy, we can also have it generate scripts, and we can use the other AI technologies that are text to voice and actually have another AI tool speak it. But we can also go further, and this can help us write our ads. We can help use it to rewrite ads that are performing well. My mind just goes a mile a minute with all of the ways that we can utilize this technology in terms of our businesses. And I'm using it on a daily basis, generating a ton of content, utilizing it. And with my podcasting, the show notes, the headlines, all of the posts to promote it, it is just saving me hours every single week being able to leverage this tool. And I just want to try and share and give you a little bit of ideas, a little bit of inspiration into how you may be able to utilize this inside of your business. It is not going to do all of the work for you, but it's going to really assist you and benefit you in the work that needs to get done. And even something that I was doing with my wife that was really, really neat is we were working on one of her landing pages, creating a bunch of testimonials that were going to be pasted on there. She had, I believe it was like 15 testimonial videos. And we know that not everybody's going to watch it. Some people are going to skim. So we actually use ChatGPT to pull out from the transcription of each testimonial to pull out a headline and generate a headline, as well as to pull out one powerful quote, so that we can have a headline that you can read as you scroll above the video, and then below that is a really powerful quote that's taken directly from the transcript. Now, this process, to be able to have to listen through every single one of those, think of what to write for a headline, try and timestamp and pull out a quote and reformat it, it'll take hours. This probably shaved 80% of that time down into creating the transcriptions, pop it into ChatGPT, get the answer, pop it onto the website. Efficiency. That's what we're getting out of this tool. It is saving us time. It is allowing us to also save money. Some of these tasks are something that we may not be good at. Not everybody is good at written word. Not everybody is a copywriter or a wordsmith. So if that may be something that because you were struggling, you might just never do. Or it would be something that maybe you have to outsource to somebody. Now you might not have to outsource it to somebody. You can do it yourself, or you can get 80% of the way. Or maybe you just simply start because it's a little bit of a lower barrier to entry now. All of those are massive, massive wins when it comes to the impact this can in turn have on the industry. That's what I'm looking at. Is there is so many people with unique gifts that they're struggling to get their message out there, and they're struggling to create content. But if they can change people's lives, and if we have a technology that can give them the ability to get their message out there, this technology has the ability to change the world. And that's what I love about this. So I want to just kind of wrap this up. And just kind of share a few of the tools that I'm using with ChatGPT. So with ChatGPT, the main one that I use is Descript, which is what I'm actually using to generate all of my transcripts. Then I'm using ChatGPT, and then the other ones are I use Buzzsprout for my podcast, and I use ConvertKit for my email. But outside of that, like super easy. Like there's not a whole lot to it. This thing is free, and I highly recommend you give this a try and see where you can leverage it inside of your business. So as I said, I have a Google Doc, 28 ways to automate your content creation using ChatGPT and AI. This is all listed out. I have all of the what to do, the prompts exactly. I talk about the limitations. I give all of the tools that I use inside of my process. And there's going to be a link around here somewhere where you can get access to this. But happy marketing, have some fun, and let me know in the comments what you did with ChatGPT. If you have any questions, but if you enjoyed this content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you soon.